Hello guys! Welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Lakwatsirong Butiki. Mula sa makasaysayang simbahan ng Intramuros, Manila, ang San Agustin Parish, nandito na ako ngayon sa makasaysayan rin na simbahan ng Makati City, ang Saints Peter and Paul Parish. Samahan niyo ako dito guys. Let's go! Saints Peter and Paul Parish, also known as San Pedro Makati Church, is a Roman Catholic church located in Makati, Poblacion, the oldest part of Makati, and for that reason, the cultural and heritage barangay of Makati, Philippines. In front of the church facade is Plaza Cristo Rey, which was formerly the San Pedro de Makati Cemetery. The Poblacion Church is a government-recognized cultural property based on the official list provided by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. After 394 years, the church was rededicated. The first dedication happened in 1620. When it became a parish church, and next after the reconstruction of the facade in 1796, and finally again on the 30th day of January 2015, the dedication was led by Luis Antonio Cardinal Tagle, D.D., Archbishop of Manila, concelebrated by Reverend Monsignor Gerardo O. Santos, parish priest, bishops, and priests. Before the land seizure of the Spanish, the area of today's San Pedro de Makati was part of the Kingdom of Sapa, or Namayan, ruled by the Raja Kalamain, whose residence was in Namayan, now part of Santa Ana, Manila. The Franciscan missionaries were the first to convert the Aboriginal Tagalog of Sapa to the Christian faith by 1578 after they had turned the original barangay into a visita called Santa Ana de Sapa in 1570. In 1589, Capitan Pedro de Breto, then an aide to the Spanish Army Chief of Staff, purchased today's church premises as part of a large property with a public bid of 1,400 pesos and installed his encomienda called Hacienda Pedro. On July 1, 1608, Capitan Pedro de Breto, now the newly elected Alferez General, and his wife Ana de Herrera donated part of their land to the Jesuits. Father Gregorio Lopez, East J, accepted the deed of donation and an endowment of 1,400,000 pesos for a house of probation. This house and the church were to be built in the highest hill in the area called Buena Vista and were to be placed under the patronage of Saint Peter, the donor's name patron. Construction of the first church was finished in 1620 under the direction of Father Pedro de los Montes, is J. As the Jesuit encomienda began to earn at least 30,000 pesos annually from the production of earthenware, their vision of building an imposing structure could begin to be realized. The church known as San Pedro y Pablo Viejo was made from hewn stone, pebbles, and gravel mixed with mortar. Its facade is dominated with a three-tiered papal tiara with the cross keys of Saint Peter. In 1718, an ivory image of the Blessed Virgin Mary depicted as Virgin de la Rosa was brought from Mexico to the Philippines through the Manila-Acapulco galleon trade by Jesuit Father Juan Delgado. This image of the Virgin Mary was enshrined in this church and was frequently venerated due to the relic of the Virgin's hair supposedly encapsulated in the image's breast. According to Nick Joaquin, this concept was backed by Father Pedro Morillo's description in his Historia de la Provincia de Filipinas de la Compañía de Jesús. Your most holy image of the Nuestra Señora de la Rosa has on her breast a most precious treasure, greater than those which Tharsis had in his opulence, or Ophir, with his most valuable metals can offer. This is the strand of hair of her most holy head, whose authenticity I read with great admiration. In the vast extent of the Indies that I know of, there exists no similar reliquary. Unfortunately, the reliquary got lost together with the ivory hands and head of the statue in the Revolution of 1899. There remains an oval cavity in the upper body. The missing parts have been restored using wood as a material instead of ivory. In Lourdes Polycarpius' view, the Virgin's title stems from Our Lady as the Mystical Rose, or Rosa Mystica. In Lucca, Italy, the feast of Our Lady of the Rose is celebrated on January 30. It is believed that the three roses were found in the arms of Our Lady on January. When a deaf-mute shepherd sees the appearance of the lady, he is able to speak after the apparition of Our Lady of Roses. In the church parish, there are two famous festivals or fiestas held on June 29, the Feast of Apostles Peter and Paul, and January 30, the Feast of Nuestra Señora de la Rosa. The Panatang Sayaw, as the Bailes de los Arcos, Dance of the Arches, are called, are an old tradition going back at least to the beginnings of the 19th century. It is a ritual of praise and thanksgiving to the saints Peter and Paul and the Virgin de la Rosa. The church was destroyed during the British occupation of Manila in 1762. It was reconstructed much later in 1849 using stones from nearby Guadalupe in Makati and Mikawayan in Bulacan province. Other materials used include yakal and mulavi as wood materials, and capri shields for windows, baticulin and guejo timbers, also known as red balan, and conchas or seashells for its windows. After the Jesuits' expulsion, the ownership changed. The Makati hacienda was reclaimed by the government and was sold in public auction in 1795 to Don Pedro de Garuga, Marquess of Villa Medina. Through the next half-century, the property changed hands 3 times until in 1851 it was bought by Don Jose Bonifacio Rojas, the founding father of the Rojas Ayala Sobel clan, who built a family manor on the river bank, what is today's Poblacion's River Park, Casa Hacienda Park. During the Philippine-American War from 1899 to 1902, the church was used as a hospital to tend the wounded American soldiers. American volunteers also camped on church grounds. This stay, however, resulted in the loss of the ivory head and hands of the Virgin de la Rosa. Over the years, the Makati Church underwent several renovations and changes in the design, but most of its features, like the reredos and the church bells, are still original. On October 29, 2018, the Congregation for Divine Worship and Discipline of the Sacraments granted a canonical coronation to the image of the Virgin de la Rosa. The rite of crowning took place on March 16, 2019, presided by the Papal Nuncio to the Philippines. Mula naman dito sa Makati City, tatawid na ako ngayon sa makasaysayan rin na simbahan ng Pateros, ang San Roque Parish. Kita-kits tayo doon, guys! Bye-bye!